All right, Monday, Deer Park, Buddha Center. Let's get started like we normally do. Just get into a nice meditation posture. You guys have all done this before. And let's do a short period of bell meditation. So I'll give you a moment, get into position. We begin at the sound of the bell. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the teacher. I go for refuge to the Dharma, the teaching. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the taught. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I have taken refuge in the Buddha. I have taken refuge in the Dharma. I have taken refuge in the Sangha. 3 pure precepts. Cease to do harm. Do only good. Do good for others. Bodhisattva vow. However innumerable all beings are, I vow to lead them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Swaha. Test. Am I there? There I am. All right. Make sure I missed anybody that came in. No. Again, hello everybody. So it is the holiday season. So my little holiday themed Dharma talks will be popping up. This is one of them. This is called the Santa Clausal process. So dependent origination. If you've been reading about Buddhism, you've seen dependent origination. Some call it causality, right? So this is the arising and falling away of all phenomena. Happens to everything, right? So this is evidence of the potential that we can find in the karmic causal process. It is a reminder that the thoughts we have and the actions that we take, and it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, or indifferent, they have consequences. And we can choose. We can choose to be the arising of unwholesome or wholesome consequences. We can choose to allow the falling away of wholesome or unwholesome consequences. We have that choice, right? We have that responsibility, even, if you will. So we are the cause and effect on what goes on in our lives, but also on the world that we are so interconnected with and interdependent on. Hi, Chiarina. Many people, when they first start to explore this idea of dependent origination or the process of karmic consequences, whenever they're trying to understand this, usually we begin by relating it to the concept of rebirth. You know, this idea that a person suffers so greatly in this life because they really screwed up in the previous life, right? Or maybe in this life the person gets wealthy and famous and happy and handsome and beautiful or whatever because they were so cool in a previous life. So this is all about karmic consequences, right? That's just a way to look at it. But in hindsight, and if we use just a little bitty tiny bit of imagination, we can give this concept more of an aura of reality. We can look at it a little differently. We don't have to actually experience rebirth we don't have to actually experience rebirth because it's a matter of faith, right? If you just see it as rebirth, that's what caused my life, that's a matter of faith. But what we can overlook is this idea that this karmic process is a driving factor in our day-to-day life too, right? And this realization will bring about a deep awareness of the ethical behavior driven by positive moral character, the value of it. And in that case, then, we depend on experiential verification. We do, we try, we see how it works out, we say, being generous, that turns out to be a really good thing. Or learning to stay calm in the heat of the action, that's a good thing. Right? But this greed that I've been working with for a lot of my life, starting to find out that doesn't work so well, right? So that's all about experiential verification. But the holiday season that we go through every year, it offers us paths to recognizing this moment-to-moment causal process that the universe operates under. And it does it at all times of the year. But strangely enough, the holiday season, it's a really good opportunity for Buddhist practice. Really offers some different ways that people act and react. I'm going to go back to this idea, this concept of karma. You've been dealing with this concept since your earliest childhood memories of Christmas. You just didn't recognize it has anything to do with karma, right? What you did recognize it as is this: if I am good, I get good things. So this is because the idea of Santa Claus, it's all about karmic consequences. Right? I am good, I get good. Now, you know the little song, and there's the line that goes, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. That line, okay, those verses. Well, I remember as a kid, I thought that had everything to do with getting gifts. You know, get a G.I. Joe, get a big wheel, I don't know, a microscope kit, a new book, whatever, right? Santa was watching me all the time. And he was the decision maker when it came to what gifts I was going to get under the tree. Now, as an adult and as a Buddhist, I realized there were far different intent to those lyrics. Sure, this whole he sees you when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake kind of seems a little creepy, right? But now I realize in the whole thing there's no mention of gifts or presents. Santa's making a list. He's checking it twice. He's aware who's naughty, who's nice, but there's no mention of consequences. Yet, as a kid, I, and I'm sure many, many others, took it as a matter of faith what those consequences would be. Do good, get good things. But a more socially engaged intent, if we look at the causal process, is revealed in the lyric, "So be good for goodness sake." That's the clincher. We should just do good because it's the right thing to do, not because we're going to get a little reward like gifts or, all beautifully decorated and with bows on them and stuff under a cool tree. Mr. Claus, that old Santa guy, he wants our actions to be selfless because he knows how the causal process really works in our moment-to-moment living. Santa Claus has some serious Buddha nature. Kind of sounds like the Buddha in a red suit and a white beard. So that's one way we can experience the Santa Clausal process. But another is by seeing yourself mirrored in the intent and the actions of others during the holiday season. To be empathetic, right? To see others in how you act and see how you act in others. So in that view, this is a way to help you recognize the cause and effect of your own dispositions and habits. We experience the loving kindness and generosity of spirit in others, for example, as we act to do the same. Again, interdependent and interconnected, right? In the holiday season, more people around you are happy, or at least they're faking it good, and that makes you happy, or at least allows you to fake it good. Right? We build on each other's emotional phenomena during this holiday season, or any holiday season. But it's in my experience that between the middle of November and December 25th, the majority of people, they kind of act like Buddhists. Right? They're happy, they want harmony, they approach the season, with happiness and joy, at least in the beginning. Generosity of spirit just abounds, man. People are given to charities and they're given to the homeless on the street and they're volunteering in soup kitchens and they're sometimes working to get that perfect gift for a loved one or for a friend. Folks will tolerate people and places and activities that they'd avoid during other times of the year. Right? Like a particular relative. You're going to go to the dinner, you know they're going to be there, but you'll deal with it for that one time during the year. Effort above and beyond the normal is applied to ensure that everyone around us has a happy, merry, uplifting experience. Unfortunately, this aspect of Buddha nature for folks rarely continues past the holiday season for so many people. Right? Like it gets turned off on November 25th or thereabouts and gets turned off on December 26th. You may not get the opportunity to see the positive karmic consequences that you generate through your intent and actions during the holidays. Yet, in this moment, their intent and actions can show you the reality that is the karmic causal process. Because you can see that, the effect that it has on you. You selflessly engage in activities like compassion, generosity, and tolerance. And you try to make positive, ethical decisions and you engage in those behaviors. But the world around you kind of moves on. And your efforts can just get lost in the midst of it. At least it can sure feel that way. During the holiday season, you can experience just how real the karmic causal process is by being mindful of how you are personally affected by the positive intent and actions of others, but also by the negative intent and actions of others. I like to accentuate the positive, but we cannot blind ourselves or delude ourselves that the negative isn't there too. But we like to start with the positive. That's more fun, right? The beauty and whimsy of the decorations that people put up in their homes and businesses, and even decorate their pets, cause the arising of happiness and joy. So like Mary and I, we put up our tree this weekend. And, we put it up in our home, and it isn't just for us, right? It's meant to bring smiles to whoever might come over and visit. A business, they might put a big old Santa Claus, one of those blow-up ones on their roof, with the selfish intent to attract customers. But if you look, there's kind of a little bit of a selfless act in there too, because they're bringing smiles to people when they see it up on the roof, dancing around in the wind. The big old blow-up Santa. Who can deny that dog or cat that's dressed as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or maybe dressed as Santa himself, won't be the cause of laughter, merriment, and some big smiles? So when family and friends gather with smiles and this palpable air of loving kindness, it has an immediate effect on you, on your contentment, and on your compassion, and on your generosity. Someone hands you a beautifully wrapped gift. You open it, and it is just what you wanted. Then you experience the positive intent and the effort that the gift giver put into making you happy. And in stores, on the street, in the office, and through the media, people are acting with generosity and tolerance and compassion. And that's having a positive impact on how you are in each moment. So this directly mirrors how your positive intent and actions affect others. It is all in the experience. And it is, again, clear and unequivocal proof that what we do matters. So all around you, during the holiday, there's going to be opportunities to experience the Santa Clausal process, right? You've got to be mindful. You've got to be aware so you can be in each moment. And always remember, Santa Buddha says, Om, Om, Om. All right, questions, comments?